Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a piece of evidence that you can use when information is missing from your service treatment records or your medical records and personnel records are lost. All right, sometimes when you go to sick call while you're on active duty, the physician assistant or the PA or the doctor, they don't document it. You get out and now that incident, injury, or diagnosis is missing from your records, or your military personnel or medical records are missing. What piece of evidence that you, the veteran, or maybe the veteran's family member, can submit on behalf of the veteran and the VA can concede it, okay? So when I rated, yes, I'm a former rater trained by the Department of Veterans Affairs, I was able to concede an event or injury or diagnosis that was not documented in service based off this information. Now, it wasn't a guarantee that the veteran is going to get service connected, but at the end of the day, I was able to request a compensation and pension exam, CMP exam. Now, you get to the CMP exam, you're at third base. Now it's up to you, the veteran, to be educated and understand why you're there, and then you have to reasonably articulate your symptomology to that examiner to obtain a positive opinion, okay? But this is what you can do when information is missing to get to third base, which is what? That CMP exam. You know I got some slides for you, so let's go ahead and get into it. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, taking you back to the M21-1, okay? And it states, reason VA does not rely exclusively on STRs, which is service treatment records, to decide claims. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So what are some of the reasons? Two down below, loss of many veteran service treatment records in a fire at NPRC in 1973, and the absence of documentation in most STRs of treatment by private healthcare providers during service or shortly after separation. Now, what the VA failed to realize, or should have put in this statement, the absence of documentation in most STRs of treatment by private healthcare providers and military providers. Because we all know, you go on sick call, they don't always document everything. Okay? That's nothing new, all right? So they should have added that in here, okay? Let's keep going. Slide number 2. Okay, here we go. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of it, everybody. M21-1, types of evidence VA may, okay? Keep in mind, look at that. May use to supplement or as a substitute for STRs. Now this is key, okay? I'm gonna touch on this because I've touched on it before when I'm sharing M21 manual references and talking about the diagnostic code criteria. Types of evidence VA may, okay? They're saying may, not saying that they will, use to supplement or as a substitute, okay? Two key words, may and or. The various types of evidence VA may use to supplement or substitute for STR service treatment records include, but are not limited to, okay? So they're just giving you some examples. There could be some more. Now, a lot of veterans, I know you're gonna leave comments, well, Dwayne, what about this? What about that? If I feel that comment, you're trying to put a circle in a square, I'm not gonna respond to it, okay? We gotta use common sense here, people, all right? STRs include, but are not limited to the following. Now, I got a question. The word buddy is in yellow. Can somebody tell me why the word buddy is in background? It's in black, but the background is in yellow. Can somebody tell me why? And if you're someone that has followed me for a while, you should know. Also, if you ever took my free training that I did on how to search the M21 manual reference, you should know. Okay? All right. So it says certified buddy statements or affidavits. There's that word again, or. Now, what I have highlighted down below, it says letters written during service, photographs taken during service. Okay? And it says, note, photocopies of service treatment records are acceptable for rating purposes if examination of the copies confirms that they are genuine and free from alteration. Now, if you have your original medical records, STRs from service, I would say you can take them to FedEx or Kinko's or somewhere like that and get a professional copy done. And you can send the VA the originals. If you don't want the VA to have the originals, they're telling you right here, you can send them copies, but they're going to make sure they're not altered. Okay. Now let's go back up. You got the buddy, then you got the letters written during service, photographs taken during service. Okay. So letters written during service, I can tell you, I remember working a veterans claim, Vietnam veterans claim, and there was nowhere that he had boots on ground in Vietnam. I called him on the weekend. I was working overtime. And I mean, he cursed me out. I mean, the first 5 minutes was bleep, 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 and bleep. And nobody before me that adjudicated this claim took the time to call this veteran. And I did. So I took the brunt of his frustration and I didn't take it personally. Okay. His wife came in the room and she heard him cursing. She said, honey, who are you talking to? This is the blank and VA on the phone. They're telling me I didn't serve in Vietnam. And then she starts to curse me out. Again, I didn't take it personal. I knew and felt their frustration because at the same time I was adjudicating my claim. And whenever I talked to somebody, especially at the 800 number, it wasn't a pleasant conversation. Okay. Now, the moral of the story, I was able to grant this veteran benefits and he got a huge back pay, okay, and had a lawyer. But the lawyer didn't get nothing because it wasn't on appeal. And talking with the veteran after I told them, hey, I can service connect you, one of the questions he asked, he says, my lawyer going to get the 20%? No, because it's not on appeal. And he was like, well, the lawyer was trying to get me to appeal it. There was no reason for the veteran to appeal it. But I'm sorry, I digress. The way I was able to get the veteran service connected due to presumptive based on Agent Orange was a letter his wife had written him, and she kept the letters. And of course, back then they had the letters with the red and blue tick marks around it. And in that post-op, it said Saigon and it had his name on it. Okay. Now, let's just say you had a girlfriend or your wife and you were out doing field maneuvers and you say, hey, I got hurt, and that your wife kept that letter or your girlfriend. Okay. Photographs taken during service. A lot of people take pictures when they're out on field maneuvers or wherever, and guess what they have on their BDU top? Their last name. Okay. Now, but what I'm talking about, the main evidence is a certified buddy statement or affidavit. That's what I'm talking about, okay? But I just want to share with you that letter story, okay? I laugh about it now because, I mean, man, that veteran, he gave it to me that day. He Sam Hill that thing, all right? Now, buddy statements. Veterans would submit the buddy statement, and they would say, there's nothing in my service treatment records or nowhere else in my records. I would look at all the information, depending on what the veteran was claiming. For example, let's say the veteran had a parachute badge, had multiple jumps, and they had got bilateral knee pain. And they would go home and tell their wives, hey, my knees hurt real bad. And their wife writes a buddy statement. I could use that to concede the veteran had knee pain because what? He said he had a parachute badge, or she, and I could confirm that on the DD-214 at a minimum. Okay, let's keep going. I spent a little time on this slide, but I had to tell that story about the Vietnam vet. Okay, so here's slide number 3. request for buddy statements. What is a buddy statement? A buddy statement is a statement from an individual who has information about the veteran's sickness, disease, or injury, okay? It's simple. Your wife, your husband, your daughter, your son, your mother, your father, your cousin, whoever, okay? Now, what form do you put it on? You can put it on a VA form 21-4138, statement in support of claim, or a VA form 21-10210, lay witness or statement, lay witness statement, okay? Now, which one, if I was still in the VA claims process, which one would I use? Probably the second one, okay? The lay witness statement, and I'm gonna share with you in a minute as to why. Let's keep going. Slide number 4, okay? Here it is. This is the lay witness statement. Now, this is not the entire form, okay? I just took a couple of certain sections here. All right, first thing that you wanna check in the top right-hand corner, it says what? June 30th, 2024. By the time I post this video, it could be after June 30th, 2024. That's why I tell veterans, when you get VA forms, do not go to anybody's website. I don't care if it's a law firm, VSO organization, consulting company. I don't care what it is, VFW, whoever, do not download a VA form from any site other than the VA. And when I did research for this particular video, that is exactly what I did, okay? So make sure you read the instructions at the top. That's number 2. Keep in mind, the person, okay, that is telling the story is to complete this form. And they said certified, right? So yeah, I would go get it certified just to be added precaution. I'd rather you have it and not need it, or need it and not have it, okay? So it says veterans identification information, and then claimants identification information. Complete this section only if the claimant is not the veteran, okay? Now, it's gonna give you some other sheets of paper. People say, Dwayne, can you review my wife's buddy statement, witness statement? No, not gonna do it. And here's the reason why. It's their story, okay? It is their story. I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong, it's their story. Now, I will say this. I always like things to be short and direct and to the point, okay? Now, you can have somebody write a 10 to 15 page letter, but again, VA employees are on quotas and your message could get lost. So, word of caution, maybe short, direct, and to the point, all right? Slide number 5. Now, this is just an example. It's just an example, okay? This is one that I put together just on the fly. Again, it's short, direct, to the point. This buddy statement is for veteran John Jane Doe per 38 CFR, court case, and another M21 manual reference. Now, all this covers what? Just type of weighing evidence or certain types of evidence, all right? Which is the buddy statement. I have personal knowledge on the following conditions. Jane John Doe is claiming before the VA bilateral knee condition, pain, strain. We grew up together and lived in the same neighborhood. So you tell them how you know this person. When John Jane Doe would call me or we would see each other when they were on leave from the Army, they would constantly complain about bilateral knee pain. They would tell me that after parachuting from planes, the impact would make their knees hurt. I asked, what did the doctor say? And their response would be, we are trained to suck it up, and it would show signs of weakness if we went to the doctor and reported it. John and Jane Doe would inform me that the ice would be the form of treatment at the end of the day. I confirm that this information is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Now, that is just an example I came up with, okay? It's not a true statement, it's a Jane John Doe, all right? Again, short, direct, and to the point. It's the person that has direct knowledge of your sickness, illness, or injury, okay? So as I always say, if you're a little bit confused about this, need additional clarification, go back and watch the video again. It's simple. Do not overthink it. Do not try to take a circle and put it in a square, all right? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.